Hi, everybody. Welcome back into Bayou Time. Harry McCullough here. Of course, we always like to preview Wednesday and a council meeting that comes up. And to do that this week, John Amedee, is parish councilman. District 4 will join us to preview the what's coming up this week. Of course, we're in the middle of hurricane season, so thank goodness we didn't have to deal with that. We're kind of getting by the drought and got a few things out of the way, but still, I guess it was a busy summer, although it's kind of slowing down for you guys a little bit right now. Huh?
It is, and Harry, I tell people, I said, well, I figured out how to cure the drought. I bought a motorcycle. Now I can't go ride it.
Right.
But again, thank you and HTV for giving us this opportunity to come share with the people what the council's doing, what's before us, and hopefully they get a better understanding of why we do what we do.
Yeah, no doubt about it. Yeah, all I had to do was wash my car, and of course, then it started raining. So,
I think we all believe that.
Yeah, no kidding. It was a heck of a summer, and like I always say, I'll take these summers over hurricanes any day, right? If we get the El Nino
and we were so nervous because of the high temperatures, we thought
Right.
for sure that we'd get one of those monsters in the Gulf, but fortunately, God has been on our side.
Yeah, well, yeah, we're not done yet, but hopefully you're right.
We're past the peak anyway.
Right. So Wednesday will be the next meeting. A couple of interesting things here. So actually, the September 17th is a big anniversary mark.
It absolutely is. And what we're doing, we have a proclamation going through declaring September 17th through the 23rd as Constitution Week. And it's marking the 236th anniversary of the signing of the Constitution, which was September 17th, 1787. And I tell you, it's a document that's just unbelievable. Every time I get a chance to go to D.C., I try to go by and take a look at it and the Declaration before they fade away. But the document itself has controlled this country without a lot of interruption for this 236 years. It's just amazing that it has been able to hold on for so long.
It is amazing when you think about it, and some of the things they built into it, like the checks and balances and
Right.
and all those different things. I know it was kind of modeled after a little bit after what the French were doing and different things like that. But this one seems so unique, and to think that they had that wisdom 230 years ago is awesome. Yeah.
And when you compare it with like the Louisiana Constitution,
Right.
which we're messing with every year, it seems like, it was just redone in 1974, and it's time to redo it again because by touching it, they've messed it up over
Right.
the years. So that's what's so amazing about the U.S. Constitution is that they went in, they tweaked some things, they put in the Bill of Rights, a couple of things since, and as a result, it's held whole
Right.
for this long.
Yeah, amazing. You got Bill of Rights and amendments that have worked well, but it also takes a big deal to pass a big amendment. You got to get the states to all agree on it. So that's pretty awesome. So.
You think of so many people, and we look at the 9 council members, and then the state says, well, we have 105 House members, 39 senators we have to get together, and then you go to the Congress, and there are 535, I believe, somewhere around there. It's just unbelievable that you can get that many people to agree on something,
Right.
and get something done. But it can happen.
Yeah, and it's so smart. Like I say, I mean, when you just think about where the people were in such small little colonies, to find that many brilliant people to come up, and it still works now that we have 350 million people in the
Right.
country. So
Absolutely.
yeah, it's pretty awesome. So also the hometown heroes accommodations. You recognize POWs?
So first thing we have is National POW MIA. That's on the 15th. This was established by then President Jimmy Carter, and God knows this gentleman is amazing and he's done more since he's left the White House than before.
The longest living president, right?
He just won't go away, but we appreciate all that he's
Good
done.
man.
And it's always the third Friday in September. And, this is really dear to a lot of people. I watch programs all the time that talk about the recovery, how, one way or another they find another soldier buried somewhere, and they go and delicately gather the remains and then with military honors fly back to the U.S. and properly bury their loved ones. So this is always something I want to make sure that we keep attention on and we never forget.
Which is another good, awesome thing that we do in this country, right? We still trying to treat those guys right, even though between the Vietnam vets and the Korean vets, and that's where they're finding a lot of it.
Yes.
Maybe at the time we didn't treat them almost appropriate for the way the country was,
Right.
but it seems like we're honoring them the right way now.
We absolutely are, and I pray that they continue this mission and continue to find those soldiers and bring them back home where they belong.
So the effort for Terrebonne Parish Consolidated Government, along with the Military Museum and a couple other things, veterans advocacies, they're gonna put up banners along Main Street, right?
So
On Barrel Street.
Yeah, right now they've got 6 banners recognizing hometown heroes. Unfortunately, I haven't gone to see them myself. Probably when I leave here today, I'll hang a right on Barrel Street and go check them out. I believe they're all up. This is something that the veterans wanted to do, and I think it's a great thing, especially with the museum being on Barrel Street. And I'd like to see more banners go up as more people are identified, and we can get those up. So the banners are going to feature their picture, their name, and their years of service in properly honoring our hometown heroes.
Yeah, that's so awesome that we can do that. Sometimes, I was a kid, and a lot of those World War II guys came home, didn't always like to talk about it. And then years later, you go, that guy was a POW, and it just opens up a whole new world that you want to talk to those guys about.
It does. I could sit and listen to them all day.
Yeah. No, really awesome. This is not a new catastrophe, but the resolution declaring our fisheries a catastrophe. Can you explain a little more about that?
Yeah, so this year, especially the fisheries, the shrimping industry has been hit hard. Prices are real low. They can't pay the cost of going out. And working with some locals of South Louisiana, organizations of South Louisiana, we're trying to get the federal government's attention because, of course, this is all regulated through federal government trade programs. And because of unlimited dumping of imported shrimp, it's just killing our market.
Right.
And over the years, like you said, this has been going on for some time. We've seen a decline in the number of boats that are going out fishing to where they're probably 1/5 of what used to be.
Oh, yeah.
And you're starting to see the different areas. So, you had Plaquemine in the Venice area, you had Terrebonne, you had Vermilion out toward Delcombe. Well, you're starting to see that just dwindle away. Right. And if we don't do something now, if we don't get their attention, and who knows, it may be too late already to truly revive it. We may be able to just hang on going into the future, which is not something that's acceptable.
Yeah.
We really want to revive this. It's a part of our heritage.
Sure.
And we hate to lose it.
Look, we were a seafood and trapping town for many years before oil came in. So, yeah, we definitely have a rich history of that. It seemed like it started with the TEDs back in the day, the turtle excluded devices. And it's just been one thing after another for those guys. The latest, it seems to be, is the diversion program, which obviously we need to build our coast. And they're going to go into Barataria Bay. They're going to cut across from the Mississippi River, which means a lot more fresh water getting over there. Now, it shouldn't affect our fisheries, but what will?
Well, what it's going to do, it's going to push a lot of that, like the oysters and crabbers and all that stuff further south because the salty water is going to be further south if they can do that. What we're seeing right now is people that are in the Plaquemine area, the Venice area, are now moving over toward our area in anticipation of what may happen with that. Truly, nobody knows, just like when they put the levees up, they didn't really know how it was going to affect our coast. And unfortunately, now later, we've learned, and now we're trying to undo some of the stuff and build some more land back up using that sediment. But unfortunately, it's Mother Nature doing her thing, and sometimes we as human beings think we can outsmart her, but she wins every time.
Every time. She might be undefeated. But yeah, so what that also is going to mean is just more pressure on these local areas. And for guys trying to hang on, now there'll just be more of them here.
Yeah, and when you do a comparison, let's take the shrimp, for example. When you do a comparison of the imported shrimp, they're grown in farms, they're injected with antibiotics and stuff, and that's just going to harm us as a people.
Absolutely.
We go out in the Gulf and we catch, or even in the lakes and the bays up close to the inland, we catch some wonderful tasting and delicious seafood. And we're going to lose that
if
we don't do it. So we have to try and grab the federal government and make them,
Right.
give us their ear and do something to protect something, or it will be lost.
Yeah, and seafood and an oil, right? Because both things, right? Because
And
they do it under environmental rules, and then we go get it where it's dirtier
Well,
when it
that's-
comes to oil, and the same with shrimp.
That's the
seafood.
problem, we, as a country, put a lot of regulation on our fisheries that they don't have to deal with.
And then we allow imports.
And then we allow imports back in that don't have to meet the same criteria. So I don't know about you, but if I can get a better product, I'm willing to pay a little bit more to get it.
Absolutely.
And unfortunately for the fishermen this year, the price has been so low. We've been encouraging people, go buy off the boats. If the docks are not buying because of low prices, go buy off the boats and help these guys
Yeah,
out.
that's a
and I
great
know
idea.
I've been filling up my
That's a
freezer.
great experience, right? To bring your kids down there and do it right
It
off the
is.
boat.
I had a nephew recently come visit. He had never seen any of this, so we took him down to Cocodrie and let him experience some things. We were going to pick up shrimp to boil, and he was able to see dried shrimp. Now he has a new favorite food,
Right.
dried shrimp.
Isn't that awesome?
He's living in Texas now, but and for our own kids as well. I can remember when I was growing up, we go to Cocodrie. They were drying shrimp on the
Right.
on the docks. You go scoop it up with a shovel and put it in a bag.
Exactly. So just to quickly run through a few things. So the Bayou Cane chief, Ken Email, is going to give you an update on the marsh. Also the discussions on the cable utilities and getting a lot of those things underground.
Yeah.
And,
So-
and then the usual appointments, right?
Yeah, so the marsh that was on fire a couple of weeks ago is actually still burning. I live out in Gray, and when I went home for lunch, there was
Still
a lot
there.
of smoke coming on. There was a fire truck still sitting on Highway 90 looking for that. And the discussion about the cables, we're still finding cables along the side of the road that belong to the utility companies. I believe it was just last week, one of the boards got hooked into one of them, pulled the power lines down, created a lot of havoc. So we'll be discussing a plan of action to see what we can do with that. And of course, we have our usual things where we do appointments, budget amendments, things like that. So it's not a real exciting meeting this week. There shouldn't be any turmoil, but nevertheless, business goes on.
And one final thing that was exciting last week, not in a great way, but the risk rating 2.0. So that lawsuit comes up this week
Yes.
on September 14th.
Yes, the Attorney General, Jeff Landry, is going to be going to court in New Orleans to get an injunction to hold the rates as they are and not allow them to implement while the lawsuit goes on, to get an understanding of this whole formula they're
So
using.
that'll be Thursday. We'll hear
Thursday,
from
yes.
that. And obviously, FEMA's going to try and have that thrown out. They'll both present their sides. It looks like, hopefully, Jeff Landry's, because that's.
Well, if we can at least get the injunction until the court date, then we can at least gain some ground.
Oh, no. I mean, look, they're stealing money from us, man. No doubt. All of us. It's incredible what they did.
Yep.
Well, John, thank you so much for coming by and
Thank
giving
you,
us
Harry.
an update. All right, we'll be right back for more Bayou Time right after this.